Hey guys, how y'all doing out there today? This is Darren, coming back at you guys with another quick video, and I'm here. Of course, I'm in Destin, Florida. Um, Beautiful, sunny, nice day today. Probably in the mid 70s Fahrenheit. Um, and I just wanted to come on real brief. First of all, wanted to give you guys an update on our travel to Africa for this summer. There was one time when we said we were bringing, it'll be myself, my wife, my son, and our dogs, Tank and Lucy. Well, somebody won't be making it. Unfortunately, our beautiful little Yorkie from almost 15 years old, she is no longer with us, and she was having a rough time. But hey, we got to all move on. And I know everybody isn't crazy about animals and stuff like that, but once you've had a pet and you've had an animal that grew up with, like your son, like Malcolm, she was actually older than Malcolm, a year older than Malcolm. And it was pretty sad, to see her have to let her go out, but it's necessary. We don't want the dog to be in pain, and she was in obvious distress, so we had to unfortunately let her go on to that second half of life or whatever they do. But anyway, if you've never been to our channel before, this is Darren from Buckner Family Travels. We are talking about our journey from the United States of America to South Africa. Our plan is to be there in summer of 2023, and again, we were coming with everyone, but not so much anymore. But I expect everybody else to be okay. I want to give you guys an update as far as my brother. Again, he is home from the hospital. If you haven't seen the video, make sure you check it out. I did an interview with him. He really, he's doing a lot better. Still got a lot of trials and tribulations to go through, but hey, he's doing better, and that's what matters. And we're expecting a good report so he can continue and come and visit, and possibly even come and live on the continent when we get over there. Update on my wife's dad. Well, he's currently still in the hospital, so. Well, he's in the hospital, let's put it that way. Not currently still in, because when she went up, he wasn't in the hospital. And it was like the day she left, he had to get checked into a hospital, and he's been there now a little over a week. But, we talk to him daily, seems to be doing okay. But, you reach a certain age, you just, you want to love on your family as much as you possibly can, because those days, could be, not lived as long. They could be short-lived. So, if you have a mother, father, whatever, sister, brother, even a dog like Lucy, make sure you love them while they're here, so you could always look back on those memories and bring some joy out of it. I think that's what's important. So we want to make sure we stick with that and do what's necessary while they're here. A lot of people, we skip over that part because we're so busy in life, which is another issue here in America. We're so busy with constantly working, just trying to keep the bills paid, trying to keep up with the Joneses, always trying to get more and more. And I always talk about wealth, and we always relate wealth to money in most cases, most of us. And I know when I was on the continent of Africa, I noticed some other things that we don't have. Well, I know people have to work hard there too, just like they do anywhere else in the world. I noticed how much time is spent on looking after family and taking care of family, how it's a priority. When we talk about wealth, I see a lot of wealth in that, and being able to have that time to spend with your family and enjoy life some. In South Africa, you go out, you have a bra, you invite family and friends over, and that's what you do. And hey, that's another reason why we are ready to go, because it seems like here it's like you try, but society here in America isn't really set up for that. And if you don't believe me, ask some of your friends or family or just some strangers, anybody you know from the continent of Africa that has made the trek to US or Europe, ask them what it's like. Ask them, did they have the same life? Yeah, they might have a fancier car, and they might have got the big college degree and even a nice home in some beautiful neighborhood in Maryland or something. But ask them, do they still have the same level of wealth when it comes to happiness and being around their family and friends and enjoying that bra on a weekend? Or do they have to work their way through that? It's funny because even when you get money, you know, you want everybody else to participate, but that's not always the case. Excuse me, guys. Phone ringing. I'll just go ahead and cancel that. They can call back. It's important that I talk to you guys about this. Anyway, I want to give you guys a real short of something. This is what I really came on here for. Another reason why America is not the blessed place for our people. I don't know what the heck that was. Anyway, today, a few hours ago, I'm going to go to the report because I want to see it. A few hours ago, the governor of Florida announced that they're going to reject African American Studies as an AP course because they said it was full of inaccuracies. And by the way, AP course is advanced placement, so we're talking courses after, you know, for the smart kids kind of who are already doing well in the other classes and they want to learn more about other stuff. He rejected it. He said it was racist. He said it was full of inaccuracies of history. And he said it was divisive. He said it was teaching people to hate. Yeah, that's what he said. This is the governor of Florida. His name is, let me see if I can pull it up. His name is Ron DeSantis. He's a Republican. And like I said, it's made top news today because he rejected this. And like I said, he actually said it was racist and everything else. Now, I'm a little confused because I was reading a little bit about what they're teaching. And to be frank with you guys, it was like they were just teaching history. They were just telling the truth about systems that were set up in the past and the way things are now and how they affect us today as African people in America. And he was talking about the advantages and disadvantages. It talks about all those things. It even talks about, deeper stories. It goes more in depth about deeper stories about why some of the African leaders in America, African American leaders, died. Other things they represented. Most of you guys hear of Dr. Martin Luther King. He's a perfect example. But it goes more into depth about Dr. Martin Luther King. It doesn't just talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, and I Have the Dream speech, which is like main thing you're taught in school here in America, and I'm sure that's the same around the world. And how he wants everybody to join hands and, sing Negro spirituals together, and talking about free at last, thank God Almighty we're free at last. But it was more to him than that. He was a radical man. He spoke out against war. He spoke out against poverty in the black community and how the government had set us up to lose. He talked about things like the FHA loans and how they were given out, and they were given out to non-black people, white people mainly in America during that time when it was created, and how they did division lines, but you had Jim Crow laws in place at the time to make sure blacks couldn't live in certain neighborhoods. If you're in South Africa, I know you can relate to this because it probably sounds very similar to apartheid, where they divide where you live and say you can't live here, you can't live there, or we can't loan money for you to live in that neighborhood, actually making it laws, and you can't drink out that water fountain. So he talked about all those things. In the books, it also talks about things like what happened when soldiers came home from war, from the Vietnam War, and how they were treated. Like second, even third class citizens. And they would say even the people we were fighting that would live here in the country were treated better than the black people that lived here in the country and went and fought the war with them. They would come back home and still, be criticized as being non-American, even though they were fighting for the country. And not only that, they're just beaten down, and it was just horrible. I listened to the stories of my family members who even went to the Vietnam War. And we all know about Muhammad Ali refusing to go to the Vietnam War and how he was treated. And he didn't go based on religious beliefs. And it talks about all that stuff. And these are accurate things in history that it talks about. But yet and still, he told them that when they come back with something else that's more acceptable, then he'd be willing to look at it again. Now, think about that, you guys. You're in America, and they said they'll look at it again and decide. So you're going to have the same people who oppress you are going to decide whether or not you need to learn more about your own history. I think about people like Dr. Claude Anderson, and when he talks about how the only way to build and rebuild things is how everything has to be built in. He said, I think he says, you can't be horizontal, you got to be vertical about this thing. And we can't be, tied into all these vertical issues. They have to be horizontal. And schools was one of those things. Education, he said you have to teach your own children. You have to teach them about finances. You have to teach them about political things and what goes on really in the world. But if you don't teach your own children, then unfortunately you're going to have to listen to what they say, and whatever they say is right. It's amazing that, again, that they could reject African American studies, but yet still, these same schools have Japanese studies, they have European studies, they have, German studies. Let's put it like this: they have everything but black studies, and that means no African studies either. So in the AP courses, they approved all these, but the African American course, he literally struck it down and said it was against the law. And he said it was racist, and he said it was just going to cause divisiveness to talk about African Americans and talk about how African Americans have been, placed at the lowest class you can be placed at in America. He rejected it. He doesn't want that taught. I believe what it is, they don't want the guilt and the shame associated with them. They don't want their children to feel guilty about some of the privilege that they exercise, and then they look down on African Americans and wonder, outside of your entertainers and your football players and basketball players, they look at them, with a side eye, like if you just pull yourself up by your own bootstraps and work a little harder, you'll be fine. And they don't want their children to feel bad about that. So it's best to just exclude it from history. I guess it makes sense for them, but again, it doesn't make sense for us. So we got to make sure of that. And here's the thing: it's bad because I don't think it's just America who has this problem. I know it's on the continent of Africa because even when I look for schools, I notice they have schools with the British curriculum. They have schools with the French curriculums, and many more. And I've heard a few people complain that they don't have a lot of stuff centered around African curriculums, and the way our ancestors did things, or the way the gods that our people might have served. So yeah, I'll even go there with it. If you're always being taught about someone else's and the goodness of what they have, how is it you're gonna ever, how is it you're gonna ever excel as a people? You have to tell your children how great they are. You have to tell your children how the enemy has treated you in the past, so they don't have to repeat the same thing over and over and over again, century after century, decade after decade, whatever. We have to stop. And again, I know here in America it's bad. I can't talk about other places as much, but I don't really see how I could do this again to my son. He's in online school now, but like I said, we live in Florida, and I'm sitting here imagining that. How rejected could you feel to say that they don't want to teach your history in the school? I mean, how hurtful would that be for a child to hear that? Oh, their history is not important enough. As a matter of fact, to tell this kind of stuff is inaccurate and it's true. It's unlawful. He even used the word, he doesn't want to indoctrinate their children. And I'm like, indoctrinate? What do you mean? I mean, isn't that what education is here in America? You indoctrinate the children. You teach them to go a certain path, stay that route, and that's what they do. And that's it. And that way they can come and they can work for you, not think for themselves, stay on this hamster wheel for the rest of their life so they can keep the capitalistic system going. And while, yeah, many of us have benefited from systems and we've done well and we broke our way out, I have to think about the futures of our other children. So I just came on here to rant a little bit today, and give you guys a quick update. If you know anything about this, and I'd appreciate it if you can leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and share your thoughts about the rejection of African American studies in the school. That's just simply speaking facts. It's not some made up stuff. It's not the movie Black Panther where we're talking about Wakanda here. We're talking about actual events, actual stories behind African people in America, or African Americans who have led the charge for African Americans to get to where it is they've gotten today. And the things that have stopped them from being even further ahead than what they are. And for whatever reason, they don't want to hear it. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments as to why you think that is. And give this video a thumbs up and a like and a share. Remember, make sure you check out the video where I did an interview with my brother. I actually did it on the live. I need some likes and shares. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers, you guys. I'm right there at it. So you guys, I appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe and help me get there so I can go ahead and start figuring out other routes to go with YouTube, or for something I want to continue and keep sharing. In the meantime, you guys, this is Darren with Buckner Family Travels, and I am out. Peace.